Alright everyone, welcome to Arsenal Fan TV. This is my review for the game this evening at the Stade Louis II Stadium against Monaco in the last 16 second leg of the Champions League. We've beaten them by 2-0, but unfortunately yet again, as we've seen season after season after season, it's not enough to get us through to the last 16 due to the away goals rule. Incredibly frustrating feeling coming out of tonight's game. A very good performance from Arsenal, and if anything, I'm more proud of the task at hand, that we've actually had a good go at it, than the opposition that we've actually beaten. I think this result would have been a lot better, of course, if we'd have gone away to Bayern Munich, to Barcelona, to Real Madrid. But I am pleased and proud of the fact that we had to get 3 goals away from home against a side that doesn't concede many at home, and we've gone and scored 2 in what was a very difficult task, but a task that we set ourselves. The underlying fact is that if we hadn't been so arrogant and we hadn't botched up that first leg, then we would be coming away as victors this evening, and we would be coming away with our name in the hat for the quarter-finals of the Champions League. So that's incredibly frustrating. And if anything, this result just softens the blow of what was a disgraceful first leg. But it has shown me what Arsenal are capable of away from home. But yet again, we failed to make an impact on this competition. We've got to start playing for 180 minutes rather than 90 at this stage in the contest. Otherwise, we're going to get absolutely nowhere. A lot of things that we've got to learn from this game. We can't, not just this game, but the tie in general. We can't be underestimating opposition, no matter who they are. Any side that gets to the last 16 of the Champions League is going to be of supreme quality, no matter what their name is and no matter who's in their squad. We've got to take them seriously, and we can't be arrogant, because at times we are nowhere near as good as we think we are. That was the underlying fact in the first leg. This evening we just showed what we're capable of, and we showed what a good team we are. We dominated this game from start to finish. Monaco, I don't even know if they had a decent clear-cut chance. Not one that I can certainly think of. It was just a case of us trying to break them down. They allowed us to have pressure, and they basically said, come on, try and do what you can against us. It was a very interesting team selection, I thought. We saw Ramsey drop from the weekend, who I thought had a fantastic game against West Ham United. It did surprise me that he wasn't featuring in the starting 11 this evening, but as we saw, he did come on and have an impact from the subs bench. However, we did see Mesut Ozil and Santi Cazorla deployed, with Cazorla playing out a little bit deeper, where he's excelled recently. I can rightly see why he started, and we saw Mesut Ozil start ahead of him, with Sanchez and Danny Welbeck on the flanks. Welbeck, I thought, was absolutely superb tonight. There were times when he does give the ball away a lot, but as does Alexis Sanchez. I thought it was a particularly poor performance from Sanchez. He looks a bit too much like he's trying to make the impossible happen at times. He consistently runs into players, but that's not to say other people weren't doing that. He worked his socks off, there's no doubts about that, but he was prone to error. Danny Welbeck, on the other hand, like I was just mentioning, I thought he was involved in a lot of our key attacking moves going forward, as was Ozil, but there were a lot of times where our creative players such as Sanchez, Ozil, Welbeck were very congested. That was a good tactical plan from Monaco. They made it very difficult for us to try and break them down. We did give the ball away a lot as well. Ozil and Sanchez were the two that are superstars. Were the ones that were giving the ball away more than anyone else on the pitch, just literally giving it to Monaco, which was incredibly annoying, and it was an incredible nuisance in the first half of the game, and it persisted in that second half. That was frustrating to see, but tiredness does come into it at an extent. But it annoys me. One other thing that really annoys me is the fact that Chamberlain wasn't available for this game, that he got injured in that game against Man United on Monday. I think he would have been the absolute key player that could have been the difference in this game. The player to push us over the line. You know, it's a real shame that he's missing in this game, and I think, you know, he showed in the first leg of this what he can do. That absolutely sensational goal, although he did give the ball away for the goal that we conceded. I don't want to look into that too much, but I think he's certainly a player that we did miss this evening. It was a bit of a surprise maybe not to see Theo Walcott starting this game. I think a lot of people would have expected him to, but I think when he came onto the pitch, he didn't have as much of an impact that I think people would have expected from him. He did hit the post, granted, but I think people want to see a little bit more of a work ethic from him. I do think Walcott is slowly, gradually coming back to his best. I don't think it did him any benefits whatsoever by dropping him when he came back into the side and was getting a couple of goals, was getting a couple of assists. We dropped him for the North London derby. He didn't really feature from there on in, which is annoying, but I'm hoping that he'll come back into the team at some point and really excel in a form that I know, and I think a lot of Arsenal fans know that he's certainly capable of. But getting into the game, really, it started off actually, saying that, the first 10-15 minutes didn't start off particularly well for us. We couldn't string 2 passes together. We looked nervous. We looked like we couldn't really rise to the occasion, and it generally looked like we weren't capable of getting 3 goals in this game. But after about the 15-20 minute mark, we certainly grew into it. We were dominating. We were pressing. Good Arsenal pressure from that mark, and we looked like we were going to get a goal. We had chances to do it. A good header fell to Olivier Giroud, who couldn't put it in the back of the net, and we were rewarded for our strong pressure with a goal from Olivier Giroud. It was an awful pass from, I think it was I can't remember the guy's name, I'm not going to try and repeat it, but it was their right back, I think, played it straight to Alexis Sanchez. Great work by Sanchez to pick it up, play it to Danny Welbeck. Welbeck through to Olivier Giroud, scuffed the shot at first, it was saved by the goalkeeper, and then it was an excellent finish in the end. And another goal for Olivier Giroud, a positive that we can take. I thought Giroud had a really good game this evening, and his fine run of form continues. Excellent positive we can take from tonight. And at that point, it did look like we could go into that second half with a lot of confidence behind us and get that second goal. We came out in the second half exactly the same as the first half. We were the end of the first half, we looked very up for the fight. We looked like we could certainly get that goal, but unfortunately it didn't come to a bit later on when Aaron Ramsey was introduced to the state of play. We saw Francis Coquelin taken off, who again had another immaculate performance, and he was taken off for Aaron Ramsey. Ramsey coming in, changed the complexity of the game, changed the dynamics completely. He looked very refreshed when he came on. Again, another positive that we can take from tonight. We haven't gone through, but there are still positives we can take. Ramsey, 2 goals in 2 games since coming back into the side. Excellent goal that he took. Again, a poor clearance from the Monaco defence. Fell straight to Ramsey after Walcott had hit the bar. An excellent finish past the goalkeeper to make it 2-0. And with about 10-15 minutes to go, it did look like we were capable of getting that goal, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be. I mean, our next clear-cut chance was when Giroud and Alexis had that little mix-up in the box where you think if Giroud had left his leg out of the way, then Sanchez could have put it in the back of the net. But unfortunately, we have gone out of this stage of the competition yet again. I mean, there are a lot of positives we can take from tonight. We've gone away from home. We've won 2-0 against a team that have got an impeccable defensive record at their own place. But we completely botched up the first leg, and we've got to learn from that. We've got to learn from that. A team like Arsenal should not be going out at the last 16. With all respect to Monaco, of all people, of all the people we could have got, this was like a very favourable tie to us, and I just can't justify quite how poorly we were in that first leg, and it frustrates me even more knowing that if we had just stayed at 2-1, if we hadn't conceded again after Chamberlain had scored, if we'd have held on, if Mertesacker hadn't bombarded all the way up the other end of the pitch, then we could have been going through tonight. It could have been a different story, but ifs and buts, can't go on all of that. We are out of the tournament. We still do have things to play for this season. We've got a top 2 finish, which could potentially be coming our way. We've still got the FA Cup to play for. It can be a bright end to the season. We are seeing some progress, but we are yet to have an impact on the Champions League, and it's just something that we've got to make sure we do next season. Got to be a massive learning curve for us. We've got to be less arrogant. We can't underestimate anyone, home or away, and we've just got to win practically every game until the end of the season. We've got to go in with that mentality that we can do that, and I think tonight we've shown that on our day we can beat absolutely anyone, even if it is just Monaco. But pretty much those would be my thoughts on a mixed emotions, performance and result this evening, but we are out of the Champions League. That's the bottom line. We won't be going any further in this contest, and like I've just said, a lot of things to be learned, but we've still got a lot to play for this season. It's not over. At least our season isn't over. Normally, a couple of years ago, I'd have been saying that our season's over, we've got nothing left to play for, but fortunately, we are still in the FA Cup. It's going to be a very exciting end to the season in the Premier League. But that's pretty much it summed up. I don't particularly want to talk about this anymore. That's the game against Monaco, a 2-0 victory away from home, but not enough to see us through to the quarterfinals. Leave your thoughts in the comments box below, whether you're proud of Arsenal or generally if you just feel a bit like me that this just softens the blow of a completely disgraceful first leg. If you've enjoyed the video, do hit that like button, subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV, check out my own channel AFC Game by Game, and I will speak to you as soon as possible, guys.